What up, CuZZo?
What up? What up? What's good? What's good?
Oh man, chilling, man. Welcome everybody to another episode of What's Up, CuZZo podcast. I am one of the hosts, Marco, and we have my cousin, our other host, Melly is in the building.
I like the nighttime. That sounds good.
All right, there we go. Cool, man. So how you feel, man?
I'm good, man. Another week in the books. You know what it is.
Yeah,
Friday. It's payday.
absolutely.
Somebody got paid. Not me though.
I didn't either.
Right.
So why are we talking about that, man? I don't know.
I'm just saying, man. You got to be happy for somebody sometime.
Not today. Not today.
All right.
That's just me. You can, but not me. I'm like old boy from How High. I need money.
Oh, that's for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. So man, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to cover this week. Man, I don't know what do you think about that title? I know I asked you offline, but I want to hear your opinion from everybody. You might have just been gassing me up.
No, I mean it's a good title. I mean it's definitely catches your attention. So that's what we want. We want headline titles. We want stuff that's gonna push the line.
Absolutely. And I the reason why I actually had something else as the title, and the reason why I chose this is just because there's a lot of uh things going on where people got paid and some people are gonna get paid. So
Mhm.
yeah. So anyway, we'll go ahead and jump into it. We got Shannon Sharpe and his accuser. They settle out of court, and she posted a video or a message that she's retiring from OF. Crazy,
It's about right. Yeah.
man. Then we have the WNBA. I don't know if you saw this past weekend was the All-Star game, and instead of them coming out with warm-ups, they came out with shirts saying "Pay us what you owe us." So we're gonna talk about that, and then we're gonna talk about a Cold player. Well, maybe he's not a Cold player because he's definitely about to get played. CEO Andy Bryan from Astronomers got caught on camera
Hmm.
with some woman that wasn't his wife. We're gonna talk about that, and then we're gonna discuss some family topics. I won't go too deep into that. We'll keep trucking along, and then California homelessness and unemployment is on the rise. It's not getting lower like some people are saying. I
Right.
don't know. We'll see. And then the U.S. Olympic Committee bans trans athletes from the Olympics. Jamel's going to talk about that.
Not
And
not
then,
particularly.
right. And then, man, before we start, um, I guess we could talk about this, but my condolences to the Warner family, um, the Warner friends, Malcolm-Jamal Warner, somebody who, we'll talk about it a little later too, but somebody who, a lot of us grew up on watching, Theo, and from what, you hear, he was a good person. He lived a productive life, and, he passes away. So, uh, my condolences to him and his family. And also, another person, girl, we can talk about him right now, man. The Hulkster. I used to be a right. I used to be a Hulkamaniac. You know what I'm saying? And I can't really say this nowadays, man. When you say 24-inch pythons, people might say pause, But man, it's something that we grew up on, man. We grew up on wrestling. Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Legion of Doom, you
Mm-hmm.
know, all those cats.
Mm-hmm.
What is there anything particular sticks that you recall about that era with Hulk Hogan and something you want to talk about?
Man, yeah, he was just one of the most popular, WWF, before it was WWE wrestlers. We grew up on watching Hulk Hogan, being an American hero. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, me hearing that happen and then hearing people, have a negative comment to say because, he said what he said about black dudes dating his daughters, which is understandable. But let's not act like we all didn't grow up on Hulk Hogan. So that's where I leave it at. I was like, I don't agree with it, but I do know that it was a part of my childhood. It was a great childhood watching WWF. Like you said, a lot of great wrestlers. So if people, choose to only highlight, the latest, then good for them. I'll leave it to you.
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely. I don't even know the full story of that situation. Kind of like you said, like he was the icon. When we were younger, he was like the guy.
Mm-hmm.
It was him. It was a few. It was him, like Ultimate Warrior. Then you had, you know, um, Andre the Giant.
Mm-hmm.
Junkyard Dog. Some of those cats, and he was just, he would have you glued, to the TV. He had that appeal, like that stardom, and it was we used to love watching that dude. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
his I'm looking for a word that keeps escaping me, but he had charisma. There we go. He and I think that was a lot of. I mean, the wrestling, was cool too. When he said what he was gonna do, he would, body slam you and then do his leg drop. You know what I'm saying? Which when you look back now, it's kind of maybe corny, but
Mm-hmm.
at that time, man, it was so much fun, watching, him say he's gonna, put his boot in your face, and then hit you with that leg drop. So,
Mm-hmm.
nobody, even though what he did, he's a human being, and I want to say condolences, to his family as well. Uh, on in his passing. So,
Yeah,
shout out
absolutely.
to
I
you,
agree.
Hulkster. Yeah, man. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into it. I don't know where you want to go first, Cuzzo.
Man, another one died too. Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne.
That's
I
one.
wasn't really as connected to Ozzy. I don't really.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't. Condolences to him as well. I'll let you talk about. I
I know
wasn't
what it
really.
sounded like. He was like, yeah, yeah. I don't care
Hey,
about
hey,
you
hey, man.
guys.
Uh, my condolences to Ozzy and the family. But yeah, I wasn't as connected to Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, there was some other people that I know that said that it affected them, but there was no, connection there. So
Yeah, I get you. I,
yeah,
I I wasn't really connected. I just knew who he was. I heard a couple of the songs that wasn't bad. I remember they had the reality TV show maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago that I used to watch.
uh-huh.
It was kind of entertaining. He was older, health was already declining, but it was entertaining. So
What show was that?
the Osbournes or something like that. Yeah, it was called the Osbournes. I think it was on MTV.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
You're right.
Hmm.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was like at the height of reality TV started. They started having families and different reality TV shows. So
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely. Man, so yeah, as this title says, F you pay me. I am sure that's what this OF model said to Shannon Sharpe.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
So she settled out of they settled out of court for um I'm seeing like 13 million, and then I'm seeing like 23 million, so I don't know the exact number.
It was 23. I saw 23, but she'll probably see 13 of it because the rest will go to her attorneys.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
We're gonna split that thing down the middle. You're welcome. Now you can retire.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's your take on that, man? I'm sorry. And to add to that, yeah, like you said, that she sent out a memo saying that she's going to retire from the platform. So, what do you think about the payout and also her retirement from her craft?
I mean, it's the cost of doing business. At the end of the day, sometimes you got to play to pay. You get caught up into some questionable ways of living. There's always a slope that you can slip on. So, messing around with younger women could put you, in a detriment if you're not careful. And unfortunately, we call him Unc, but he definitely didn't use his wisdom and knowledge to, not put himself in that position. He was acting like a gump to me, So her retirement is just pretty much like par for the course. It's like, yeah, I got this. Now I can just chill, which is what a lot of people in the industry seeks to do, and it's not talked about, but yeah, everybody's looking for a big payday. That's why women have babies by athletes, rappers, entertainers, because they got a lot of money that can be disposable. So let me figure out how to get it, So this is just, another game being played on an individual that might have not been savvy enough in the moment to, get yourself out of it before you had to go through what you
Knocking or something on your side?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's just my take. What you think? What you got?
Man, I mean, I get it, the age gap. It happens. I mean, it's kind of tough for me because I have, girls who are close to that age, right? And so it's like on one end, it's like, okay, if they're an adult, then it should be fine. But then on the other side, you like, that could be my daughter. And I know my daughter's mentality is not that of a, 55, 56-year-old person.
Yeah, mature.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, but you see a lot of those I mean, I don't want to say a lot. You see relationships like that. And I'm kind of torn because of that. You see, I think it was a setup from the get-go. I could be totally wrong, but I think it was a setup from the get-go. And, I know he talks about, on his show how, he says he doesn't want an older woman, but then he also, they talked about ages and he said like, he made it seem like ages were, certain ages were too young, but you messing around with this chick, that age. So it kind of makes me, I still watch him, but it makes me, really believe that can't trust everything people say. You know what I mean? And I guess I'm kind of going away from the topic, but I believe that he was being set up, and he didn't have his radar, his attention up, like his antennas up, and she got him. Like I don't know what her background is, You don't know if this is something, that, you have some people who just know how to plot and get their way. And she was definitely looking for an easy way out because that's the reason why she was doing what she was doing, is because she didn't want to go to work, like, other people do, and work a real job. She wanted to, sell herself, so she finds a sucker, sorry, Shannon, I ain't gonna call you young because we close together, but she found a sucker, and hey, he got licked, and now she, could, chill, you know, however long it takes. I don't know, maybe she might find another dude that she gets caught up, that she catches up. But the other side of this, though, I think that it's a additional thing that we get to talk about because, kind of like we talked about the flying people out, can't do that no more. Now this is another thing. Like, you can't trust certain people now. It's harder to trust, women, because I don't think it's just women her age. I
Mhm.
think it could be women older than her that does the same thing. So
Yeah,
now,
of course.
so now men have to really be on high alert, because you don't know what this woman's intentions are, and especially if you're a man of, uh, like, you're higher value, like you have more to lose, then you really have to be looking out because, like, what is her intentions? Is she trying to get over on me? Is she trying to, take my resources? And sometimes, I mean, I've heard like a lot of men don't even really want to mess with women now. Not saying to go the other way, but they kind of focus on other things like their career and stuff like that more than actually dealing with women because of how things are, you know.
Yeah,
So
well, I mean, you gotta be responsible in those situations. You can't be reckless, like we talked about. I think maybe a show or two ago. And men need to be more responsible and
right.
accountable for their actions because if you're just being reckless, then yeah, you're not paying attention to a lot of different things, a lot of different scams that's happening, a lot of different setups that may happen. And if you are looked at as easy bait, gullible, yeah, you might get got, by the right one, So you have to maintain focus on yourself, especially if you built an empire and you've made a lot of money. Just know it's going to be people that always want to, relieve you of some of that, guys, girls, etc. Lawsuits, OnlyFans models, investments. It can come in many different forms. So,
How do you protect yourself against that? And you want, I mean, you're a man, and men have, urges.
well, I mean, you have to learn and understand how the world truly works. Because you're doing well at this point in time doesn't mean that people don't see you as food.
Oh, yeah.
You got to always think about that. The higher you go, the easier you are to knock off your plateau. So you have to be thinking in that way. And for whatever reason, money always makes guys look better. Not to say that Shannon's not, a cool looking guy, but I'm just saying, if things don't happen a certain way, normally, and you
Right.
thinking logically, I'm 55, she 19, what she want with me? Yeah, I work out. Yeah, I'm in shape, but me knowing me and how I move and I'm walking around, yeah, girls don't look your way if you older. Now if you got money and older, yeah, of course, you'll get some time for sure. Because they think they looking at you as, a dad
And
or
provide.
a boss, a provider. So it's like if you got the money, the nice car, the nice house, you take me on a vacation, yeah, that's free lunch.
Hmm. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I just think it's crazy that she got him like this. I don't know. I mean, you have guys, I don't know if you watch the show, but he talks like he's that dude, you know what I mean? Um like he can't be got, you know. But
Mhm.
hey, got to be more careful, Unc. I called him Unc, didn't I?
Gotta, gotta
Got
do,
to be more
gotta
careful,
do
man.
better than that. Gotta do better than that.
Yeah, man. And I don't know. I think from the other side of that, it's like if you're a guy, you know, like I said, you're a guy, and you know, you don't, especially if you're that age. I know I don't want no 55-year-old woman. I know I may not want no 46-year-old. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Well, at 19?
No,
Oh, you
no.
talking about now?
Now,
Well, it depends. I mean, what we talking? We talking who looks good for the age right now?
man. Okay. I'm not talking about no stars because I'm not at star level.
Well, I'm
I'm,
just
I'm
saying
talking about
though.
like the average. So if you look at the girls that you graduated with, how many of them still look, you know what I'm saying, decent at this at the
It's a
age?
couple. It's a few.
All right,
It's a
man.
few.
Let's go to the enough subject, man. You know, are they married? Are they with somebody?
Uh, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, that's what I'm
possibly.
saying. Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
I know a lot of the girls I went to school with. I mean, it may be like a few. I'm talking about like a handful, but that's out of, you know, the few hundred that graduated. You know, so it's like rare.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they've been through life and life been through them. So yeah.
Yeah, I bet you it has. I, I bet you it has. I'm not saying, you know, I know I'm looking raggedy. Hey, shout out to you, Rick. I know I'm gonna come see you, man. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, man. Oh, this is another thing that I wanted to bring up. So about settling out of court. So I know he settled, you know, instead of them, you know, like actually going to trial. And I'll just give my opinion now. I think that was a good thing, you know, because people usually say, oh, when you settle, you know, you're confirming that you're guilty, but it doesn't always mean that. It doesn't always mean that you're guilty, because in this particular situation, you know, like looking at the or let's watch or listening to what happened in the Diddy trial, and you know, you see how when they go through the discovery process, how all this stuff comes out. You know how everything has to be laid out on the table, all the evidence, all the phone calls, all the text messages, any other like videos or things like that. So um some of this stuff, you know, could be, you know, it could make you look really, really bad. You know, even though like everybody has their own, you know, kinks and stuff like that. Like some of the stuff, you know, that comes out can make you look bad, whatever it is through the messages, you know, like we heard the recording of her, you know, of him saying that I'm gonna choke you. You know, that's one thing. But then also too, like, man, we might have heard, you know, that Uncle Shannon had his butt up and tooted in the air or something. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to hear that. And I'm sure he didn't want us to hear that. And that's his business. You know what I'm saying? But uh like you see that he lost like a bag, you know what I'm saying? Like behind that, he was literally about to sign a $50 million deal. We don't know what's gonna happen soon, but it was right on the cusp of signing that. But then also some of his sponsors, like he had a Boost Mobile sponsorship that went away. And then actually I was watching last night and I saw that his DraftKings logo is back up there. So DraftKings is back rocking with him apparently. So that's a good thing. Shout out to you, Unc. Um, you know, congratulations for getting that back. But like that's why some people settle, because it could mess up future, you know, earnings, especially, you know, going through that discovery. And, you know, sometimes stuff is not like actually it being proved in court, but it's a court of public opinion, like them, you know, people in their own mind saying that, you know, it's just already making you guilty. Yeah. Did you have anything else to add, Melly?
Yeah, I mean, just on the end of that, I mean, also, like you said, for sponsorship purposes, you just want to get it over with. the quicker this goes away, the quicker you can get back to business as usual. You don't want to keep asking questions about something that may or may not happen. So you don't want the focus of your sponsors and the people who support the companies to be talking about that. So yeah, just give her some money, make it go away, and you can move on. So that's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, man, hopefully, man, you keep your nose clean, Shannon, man. Hey, you know what? I saw the show last night, and like I said it already. But him and Ocho and Joe Johnson, they were like, "Oh, we gonna go to the," I think he said to the strip club in Magic City or something. Like he was like, "Man, don't call me." don't even call me. He said, "I'm deleting your number right now." Don't call me, man.
Right.
So
I ain't got it. I ain't got it.
Hey,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, man. So
Pockets is light.
Man, hey, I know he hurting. Even though if he got it, that's a pain in the butt.
Man, I'm telling you.
Man, so moving on to the next topic. CEO of Astronomer got caught up on the kiss cam. Let's see. Oh man, I'm over here. I'm lacking, man. I forgot how to work things. Let's see. Here we go. All right. I'm actually gonna play a after video of the whole thing. Let's see. Here we go.
To the story everyone's talking about, the CEO caught on kiss cam at a Coldplay concert, snuggling with his head of human resources. Today, there are serious questions whether they will be forced to leave their jobs. Allison Hall has the latest.
Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
The woman who shot that now infamous Coldplay kiss cam that caught two executives apparently cheating is speaking out to Inside Edition. 28-year-old Grace Springer was at the concert at the Gillette Stadium in Boston and captured the moment that has now been viewed 53 million times.
I could have never guessed that it would be such high-profile individuals in the video. I do feel sorry for their partners and spouses that they had to find out this way.
Do you think if they had not tried to hide, Coldplay would have moved on?
100%. I think if they acted natural, no one would have thought twice. What a cute couple. I mean, I'm sure people in their inner circle might have caught something, but I definitely wouldn't have posted that video if the reaction wasn't the way that it was.
We're going to continue to expand globally.
Andy Byron, CEO of a billion-dollar AI company, and Kristen Cabot, his head of human resources, were seen shrinking in panic at the concert. He's married with teenage children. Kristen Cabot has been divorced for 3 years. She was hired just 8 months ago. And now that 15 seconds of video is having a devastating impact on both of their lives. The New York Post front page headline, Dumbotron. I spoke with workplace expert Stephen Viscusi.
This requires, to me, not one, but 2 resignations.
Fortune magazine is predicting severe consequences for the company's culture, reputation, and financial stability.
Oh, look at these two.
Parodies and memes are flooding social media.
Oh, look at these two.
All right, come on. You're okay?
Byron's wife isn't laughing. She's scrubbed her social media.
I think cheating is an abomination, okay? And this man has a wife, he has children, these kids are gonna have to watch and see this. They don't look, I would be devastated if I was his wife. You do.
We'll stop it right there. What you think, CuZZo?
I hate that this is a story. That's what I think. I hate that this is a story. Like, for what? Okay. It's not like it was Donald Trump, spooning with somebody, I just hate that it's a story. That's all I gotta say. Be honest.
Okay. All right. That's it. All right. Yeah, man. Your life is not private anymore, man. With the age of social media, any moment can be caught on video at any second. And this just shows, well, I hear you. I hear
Why
you.
would you be filming that at that moment in time? I feel like that was a setup to me.
I
That's what
mean, I don't know.
and then why does it go viral? You
Mhm.
know,
Right.
I mean, we've seen kiss cams, plenty of times online.
Yeah.
People propose and they say no, and yeah, the video does pretty good, but then the news picks it up.
Mhm.
Why? Because he's a CEO of a company. Okay.
Do you think that what the lady said though? Did you hear what she said? I mean, I don't. It could be true or not true, but their reaction when they like I don't know if you heard the dude from Coldplay. That's why I said, "Oh shit," because he was like, "I don't know if they're." I don't know the first part of what he said. I don't know. I think he said like I don't know if they're nervous or no if they're having an affair or if they're cheating like from the stage, and then their reaction behind it instead of like them acting normal, you know, reacting the way they did brought attention to it instead of like being chill. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you could be right. You could be 100% right. That it's something else behind this. I don't know.
Staged. That's what I think it is. Staged. Like many things we see on TV and online, people think it's real. This life that we live is scripted 95% of the time, maybe 99% of the time. We call it a simulation. We assimilate to things that are shown to us, and we react to it emotionally, and that's what gives it is gas, as my little one would call it when he be trying to grab his juice box. I need some gas so he can get some energy. But yeah, this is energy for people to be distracted, be entertained, like many things, So that's why I said, why is this a story? Because there's so many different things that's happening today. And we talking about somebody being unfaithful, This is not Bill Clinton getting a BJ at the White House,
I didn't do it.
Right. I didn't do it. I didn't have relations with that woman.
Right.
I just like to play the sax,
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, a lot of things that pop up, as stories. I don't know why we have, why they're actually made out to be a story. I don't know. I don't know why, they're covered, by the news. I mean, it could be. It could be.
It might have been a setup. She might have expected some things or suspected some things. You never know. It's crazy. Life is crazy.
And it said that she had a divorce. So I thought she was married as well.
Oh, the other lady?
Yeah, but they said that she got a divorce. So
I wonder what their policy is on dating. I wonder what it is. And she's an HR lady, so she knows.
Right.
This is a big no-no.
Hey man, they the biggest offenders, man. They the ones that break the law.
Right, because they know
You already know what it is. Exactly.
They know what it is. I think she'll get let go, but I don't think he will.
He already stepped down.
Oh, he did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, he stepped down. I mean, but I think he's gonna have more problems to deal with than just he probably should have kept his job until they let him go.
Yeah. She about to take half.
For sure.
She about to take half.
They already said, that she scrubbed her social media. She put herself a single.
And
if you pay me.
Right.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate, man. I don't know if you have anything else, man, to say about that, because I know you know.
How you get caught slipping like that, man? His player card has definitely got to be revoked for sure.
That's what I said. I was
like
like,
that thing. Like, bro, what? Like, nah, I'm not on camera nowhere. Sit yourself down. No, we not standing up spooning. Yeah, we got our own little
don't touch me
spot. Yeah, we back here chilling. That's
We
it.
ain't kissing in public, none of that, man.
None of that stuff, right?
And especially like that they do those at events. Well, I'm sorry. I would like to think people know that they do those type of things at different events. You know what I'm saying? Like that wouldn't be in your mind. You're a CEO of a company, and I'm sure you just didn't get there because well, I don't know. You could have.
Well, I'd like to know, was that the first one? Was it like panning the crowd, like 1, 2? Oh, look at these people. Oh, look at these people. And oh, look at these people right here. They look like a couple. Yeah, like, was that the first one out of nowhere? Because it looks like it was dark in there. You can't see me up top if it's dark, you know?
Well, you know how they shine the light.
Right, but I'm saying though, it's like if I don't know it's coming, then it's like, man, I think we good, you know, because it's dark. Ain't nobody paying attention to us. We way up in the nosebleeds or in the skybox.
We ducking before it happened.
It was too late.
Gotcha, bitch.
Right.
Let's see. Let me see if I see something. I'm looking right now. Oh, okay. So that one I didn't see nothing. I was trying to see if somebody had like a oh, they crazy with these memes. Oh, somebody did it. Oh, they call it they calling it a Coldplay cam in some places. America's first field. Oh man. They not even get paid for that either.
Cold-blooded cam. That's what they should call it.
Man. That dude. Oh yeah, no, here. Wait, let me see.
He might come back and sue their ass for that too. Sue Coldplay. I'm suing y'all for that shit.
Yeah, they're not showing if it. I mean, you're right. It could. I mean, it could be a setup because all they're doing is showing them. They're not
Just that
showing
one video. Yeah. What about everybody else? If we doing a Coldplay cam or a Kiss cam, that's got to be a setup. Yeah, they up there now. Going to shine the light on.
Man, cold game.
That's like, oh, who done it? Like, you know, you cut the lights on. It's like, oh shoot.
Gotcha, bitch.
Cold game.
Cold-blooded.
Man.
Next topic. We're gonna go to hop in this just so we can have enough time. I guess we won't be on it too much, but too long because we've talked about this for a long time, but I think it's coming to a head. This right here.
Moment and got the point across, and sometimes you don't have to say anything.
Top WNBA players made a bold statement over All-Star Weekend by actually saying nothing. Ahead of the league's 2025 All-Star Game, every player on the floor wore a shirt with the words "Pay us what you owe us" across the chest. The collective display was a direct call out to league leadership that players want more of the financial pie, on par with other pro athletes. NFL, NBA, and NHL players receive about half the share of league revenue, while WNBA players receive just 9%.
We feel like we are owed a piece of that pie that we helped to create.
The average salary in the WNBA is about $102,000, with stars like Caitlin Clark reportedly making only around $78,000. Currently, the WNBA and its players are in the midst of collective bargaining negotiations for new contracts. And as the league continues to grow more popular than it's ever been, players want to make sure they aren't left behind.
It was a very powerful moment and got the point across, and sometimes you don't have to say anything.
Top WNBA players made a bold statement over All-Star Weekend by
It's on you, man. I'm gonna let you address it. You hear me? Oh,
yeah, I can hear you. I'm just. I mean, what are we bargaining on? Like, what's the collective agreement that we're going to be bargaining on? Like, the league is not profitable, so where's the money coming from? Like, I want to know what their argument is. I would like to hear the other side. Where's the money going to come from if it's already being subsidized by one league? I could see if you were profitable. Yeah, let's come back to the table. You guys have outplayed these contracts. So yeah, let's get some new contracts on the table. But at the current state, yeah, you guys are
less money.
You guys have your guys are on the rise because of Clayton Clark and our other girl, Candace,
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese, yeah, not Candace, but Angel Reese. And it's kind of like, yeah, you guys are on your way. You're not there yet, but you're on your way. So I guess people see that and they understand that and they want to get something before their time is over. That's like me being, in the league and saying, yeah, I want a new stadium before we leave. So, make us a new stadium, or, I don't know. It's just one of those things to where you want to know where the rationale is coming from. It's not an emotional thing, it's business. I get what you're saying, but yeah, that's part of it. If you have a good product and you are increasing ticket sales, you're increasing jersey sales, we make a new agreement with, TV stations to put more games on TV. People are tuning in and watching it. Yeah, we can see where the money is coming in, I guess, so I think the people that control all the money and everything at top is always going to be on top. Because even with the NFL, they have issues with their contracts all the time. And they're the highest grossing, entertainment in the world. Nobody outgrosses the NFL. And rightfully so. So, I don't know. I mean, it could be something to it. I think they do have, some rights to what they're saying. It's not wrong. I just think it's all about timing as well. If the timing's off, then what you're saying is not feasible, because where are we going to get the money from? If we're sharing more money and we're not making any money, then how can we share more of the money? Like, where's the money coming from? So I would like to hear that side of it too. I know you said you had a video of the person that said he was breaking it down, but that would be interesting too, to kind of hear the other side of it.
Oh yeah, I thought he was. I thought he had like more. That was the guy, but he didn't go as deep into it as I thought he was. No, did he? But I mean, we had this conversation multiple times, and this conversation has been going on, with the players for quite a bit. And I just think, I'll just say this, it's two different things. So you have revenue, and I was explaining this to somebody earlier, right? So if you have, you earn money, and then once you get the revenue, it doesn't stop there, right? Like if you're selling a product and your product is, just say $100 for one, right? You have to invest invest money into the product to get the product. And now if the product price to get this product is more than what you sold the product for, then you're in a negative. And so your profit is going to be negative. So now they're asking for some of the revenue, but there's other stuff being contributed to their league that their viewerships and their attendance and jersey sales are not matching that. And so they're in the hole, for lack of better words. And so how is it that you think that you can get a part of the revenue, but you don't care about the profit? Like, how that's up? So they're basically saying, before you take care of all the stuff on the back end, we want to get paid. We want to get paid for that money you make up front. If you have, like, even if at the simplest thing, if you have a little lemonade stand, right? In order to make lemonade, you need lemons, you need sugar, you need water, You need cups. You need all these things to to run this in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're selling if you're at a negative, you're gonna go out of business right away. So if you sell if your products cost more than the business is making, you going out of business. It's just simple. Now, if you look at it from the other end, like, what about if you look at it from a profit standpoint? You want to do profit sharing? Because now if you do profit sharing, is that going to put the battery in y'all back to get more viewerships and to work on that, work on that side? Because you guys are not going to get anything if it's involved profit sharing, because you're not making any profit. And I just let me see, I have a couple things right here that I found out. Okay. The WNBA reported revenues of approximately $200 million in 2023. This was a significant increase, double the $102 million reported in 2019. However, despite its revenue growth, the league has historically operated at a loss. Some reports suggest the WNBA lost money in 2023, with some sources claiming loss of $50 million, potentially linked to a new investment in charter flight programs. So they want to fly on their own plane, right? Instead of having to, fly Spirit or whatever else they was flying. Like, y'all don't think that costs money? Yes, it costs money. 2024, the league continued to grow with estimate of around 200 million. However, reports indicate a loss of 40 million for the year. The deficit is largely attributed to the league's previous television deal, which provided a relatively low amount of revenue compared to the other major leagues. How can you expect to get paid more?
Magic.
Huh?
Magic.
Oh man. Magic said we ain't gonna be here. No, I'm playing. But if you look at from that standpoint, because they're not doing it. They're not trying to break down the math. Like I said, it's simple math, simple economics. Nothing from nothing makes nothing. And guess what? Like, if you guys give it some time, you guys could grow, because I understand there's a TV deal or something like that that's in play that may make you guys profitable. But up until this point, you haven't been profitable. So how can you sit there and say, pay me what you owe me? Because if you got paid what you owe, you'd be getting, you would actually have to pay the WNBA or the NBA for playing. Y'all would owe them. And I mean, you look at people and you think that they may that it makes sense because it's basic stuff, but you realize that common sense is not that common.
Mm.
I don't know, man. It's crazy to me. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, because I know they're in talks, and I know they're talking about they may sit out. And I know, hey, the NBA might feel like a old person with corns with some too little shoes when they take them off. Relief. They might feel like, I know when a woman take off her bra, they be like, woo, because they didn't have it on all day. The NBA might be like, woo, we ain't got to subsidize them no more because they giving us a break.
Man.
Be careful what you ask for. Just saying. And then I have another thing. Where's my rant button at? I might have another thing because I know I'm ranting right now. So, yeah, sorry, man. Hey, this is a women's league, WNBA. When you go to a WNBA game, how many women do you see there? What's the men versus women. When you who's watching most of these WNBA games? I can guarantee you it's more men that support the league. And how can you complain about a women's league that women aren't watching? I don't know, man. I guess that's all I have to say about that.
What didn't the Shaq say? Put him in booty shorts or something, or like lower the rims or something.
He said both of those things. He was talking to Angel Reese and he said, you know, if you wear something different, y'all wear something different, you know, it might, you know, get more viewership. And then he also said lower the league. I think on another podcast he said, you know, not nothing crazy, but like down to 9 feet or something like that. I mean, he did have a point. And I've been saying this myself. One thing is missing from the game. You cross somebody up, you get a wide open lane to the basket, and I gotta see a layup like a floater, or you know what I'm saying, a finger roll. Hey, turn that over.
Right. Yeah.
If you see, you know, Asia Wilson dunk on somebody, hey, you might be
a little bit more exciting.
That absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, man. So, like I said, we'll see how this plays out because there's soon. I think things are, like I said, coming to a head. And we'll see, you know, where things land. No yawning, man.
Man, end of the day, boy.
Come on, man. No, I feel you. I feel you. So, you have anything else you wanted to say about that, sir?
Man, I wish them the best. Hopefully they are able to figure out. I'm pretty sure they'll come to some type of an agreement. And if they do a lockout, you know, that might be lights out forever. So, like you said, be careful what you ask for. And, you know, take into consideration what can make your league more exciting, you know, so more people will want to watch, you know. Maybe they should go back to them John Stockton shorts, you know, where John Stockton had the small shorts. Maybe we should wear those. I don't know. What is that?
Man, you know what? I mean, there's only a handful of those ladies that I wouldn't mind seeing in John Stockton shorts.
That's true.
The rest of them look like me, but except minus the facial hair. Actually, I might have a facial hair too, but
yeah,
that's
another thing. Watching someone trying to do something someone else does is not entertaining because you're not that person, or you're not that.
Right.
You know, women being athletic, it only works in certain sports.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I'm sure there's some girls out there could actually dunk right now, but they're not playing basketball, but they play, like you said, other sports.
It's just the same thing as like watching women play football. There's a women's league out there.
Right.
There's one that put on full pads and really look like, you know, women out there playing football. And there was another one that's more, you know, revealing, you know, and those women, okay, I wouldn't mind watching that once or twice, but I'm not going to be tuning in anyway because it's not entertaining. Yeah, it's nice to look at, but it doesn't entertain me. It doesn't, you know.
100%. And you know what? So All-Star game was last week. Did you watch the All-Star game?
They had an All-Star game last week?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Oh,
That's
I didn't even know. I didn't even know.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I didn't even try to find out what time it was, where it was streaming, or what channel it was on. I didn't try to find any of that stuff out, and that's part of the issue. You know, you have, and I'm not saying it's an issue on our end, but you expect to get paid a certain amount, and people are not trying to tune in to see your product.
No, you're not.
Just plain and simple.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say this real quick. I did pull up. Let me see. I pulled up the NBA's. Okay. So NBA profit. The NBA is a stark contrast as the highly profitable multi-billion-dollar enterprise, massive revenues. The NBA's 30 team generated a record 11.3 billion in 2023-2024. While the league as a whole is highly profitable, the exact profit figure for the entire league isn't typically released publicly. Then they have a new media deal valued at $76 billion over an 11-year period. Let me see. Yeah.
Truth be told, I don't even watch the NBA anymore because it's not what it used to be. The product is not what it used to be. They're going down too. So if the NBA starts to lose revenue, then what you think is going to happen next?
Bye-bye, W.
Or are they going to have to sit out maybe a couple of seasons? Like, all right, y'all wanted to sit down. Okay, go ahead. Because we ain't got it.
Man.
We're trying to get our stuff together.
Well, you know, that's crazy. I mean, I hear about the NBA saying, you know, and people saying the product is not as good, and this is a different league, you know, for me watching it, because I did start back kind of getting involved in watching the games. This is just a totally different league from what we remember. And you know, cats, you know, are all Steph Curry. You know, all they do is shoot threes like 1 through 5. You know, like I've seen people go drive to the basket, and instead of shooting a layup, they dribble all the way around and pass to the corner, or they dribble all the way out to the corner and shoot a three, or they dribble underneath the basket and kick it out to the top of the key so they can shoot a three. And the lane is wide. They get to the basket. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. But the other part I was gonna say, man, do you see these deals that these dudes are getting? Like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, he signed like a deal, and he's getting like $70 million a year. And so, like when it's time for his next deal, you know, if they, you know, sign him again, he could get close to $100 million a year, if not $100 million a year. You know, so I don't know. We'll see what happens, but man, more power to you, WNBA. I would just say, you know, I wish y'all the best of luck. I'm not gonna hate on y'all bread, but you know, the math is not mathing, as they say, you know, in this particular scenario. Yep. So on to the next one. Oh yeah, I know you want to talk about this. No, not that one.
The U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee changed its eligibility rules on Monday, effectively barring transgender women from competing in Olympic women's sports. The change falls in line with an executive order enacted by President Trump in January. Let's bring in CBS News correspondent Elise Preston, who's going to break down all this for us and what this means as we look toward a Los Angeles Olympics just a few years down the line. Elise, give us some context about this move and what it could mean moving forward.
Well, Liz, the committee added to its athlete safety policy Monday a section that will ban transgender women from competing in women's sporting events. Now, the policy states, quote, the USOPC will continue to collaborate with various stakeholders to ensure that women have a fair and safe competition environment consistent with Executive Order 14201. Now, the rule doesn't mention transgender athletes explicitly, but it does reference compliance with the executive order signed by President Trump called, quote, Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports, which was also aimed at changing rules around athletes who are transgender. Now, the International Olympic Committee's framework from 2021 states the need to ensure everyone can practice sport in a safe, harassment-free environment that respects their needs and identities, but places the final authority for decisions on transgender athletes with the international and national sport governing bodies. Now, the U.S. amendment comes just months after a USOPC meeting in April, where Chief Executive Sarah Hirschland said the committee had no plans to define eligibility criteria ahead of the 2028 LA Games.
Yes, sir. Shoot.
Congratulations to them for making the right decision.
Hmm.
You know, that's what it's always been. You know, that's what it always should be. You know, fairness. It's about fairness. It's not about your ideologies on, you know, what you make and what you want to be fair. It's about what's, you know, physiologically, you know, fair.
Yeah.
So
I don't have anything to say about that, guys.
and you don't want the backlash. It's good. This is my opinion. I wish them all the best. Maybe they can have a transgender Olympics, you know, just for them. That would be great.
I was about to say the reckless. I was about to say the reckless. Oh man, okay, my bad.
That would be great, right?
Huh?
That would be great.
Did I say something reckless?
No, I'm just saying if they did something like that. Yeah.
Transgender. Oh, okay.
Yeah, put like with like and stop trying to fit, you know, square pegs in the round holes.
Round holes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's I mean, I agree with the decision as well. I think that, you know, you want to make sure that I mean, you pretty much said everything that is fair, you know, and you know, whether you consider yourself a trans woman, and you're competing against what do they call it, cis women? I don't know what they call it, but there is a difference in the makeup and bone structure and strength and things like that. So I mean, that gives a unfair advantage, you know, to certain individuals. You know, I think we had this conversation before. Maybe I had it with my buddy, but yeah, it was me and you. You know, they banned people taking steroids and performance enhancement drugs in sports. And even though this is not necessarily a performance enhancement drug, it acts similarly to, you know, that because you have an unfair advantage against your competition. And we've seen, you know, boxers, people in swimming who are ranked, you know, down at the bottom, you know, in their same sex, but you know, when they compete against, you know, the opposite sex, they are, you know, in the top tier in the competition.
Yeah.
And so that alone shows you that there's like a substantial advantage, you know, in that. So I mean, I know that's like the changes has been made quite a bit, you know, around the country, you know, because of our new president and, you know, the regime, the Trump regime. So this is something that's been going around, like changes like this have been made, and it's unclear why, you know, certain cities, I mean, certain states, you know, still decide to go against that. You know, because as a person who has a daughter, you know, it wouldn't be fair. You know, it's not fair. You know, and I think fairness is one of the things important in sports. You want to have like, of course, you have to, like a person that plays sports. I know I have to work hard, you know, to increase my skill. you know, but you don't want the advantage to be more than just that, more than that. Like you want it to be about the person who worked harder and enhance their abilities and enhance their skill. You don't want it to be an unfair advantage. So yeah.
Good job, CuZZo. Way to get in there.
No diddy.
No doubt.
Okay. We going to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, all right. I'm going to play this right here, man. I think this is real wild. But we'll see.
Clean up the infection. We're going to tell the truth. Mr. Monzel, in your lie detector test, you were asked, did you have any sexual contact with any of your 3 daughters? You said no. And the lie detector said there was no deception.
Yes, thank God.
How does that feel for you? And that your daughters know it.
Well, I felt they always did know it.
You felt they always did know it.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't speak it because?
They didn't know no better. They wasn't told no different.
Miss Yvonne took a lie detector test and said, did you make up or exaggerate any stories with the intention to harm Monzel? She responded no, and the answer was deceptive. Then he asked you, did you say something to the effect of, I'm going to make sure you're never happy again? She responded no, and the answer was deceptive. So Miss Yvonne has acknowledged that her story about you touching your children in a sexual way was not true. So Miss Yvonne, is anything that you wanted to say to Mr. Monzel?
Why didn't you fight for him harder if you knew you could do it?
And what is it that he could have said that would have made you not believe the lie you were telling? Miss Yvonne, you told the lie. It was a lie, and you told it. And you got to own it.
I'm sorry. I need you to say that you did not rape your girls. I need to hear it come out your mouth the way I've always heard it, Ma.
I apologize for accusing you of raping them. Please forgive me.
You don't have to forgive her. You don't have to.
I cannot accept your apology because it's not sincere. Deep down, I know that you didn't believe that. You knew I had no sexual desires for my children. For 25 years, this thing has broken me. You don't know. It has affected my life in ways I can't even count. The things that you did. This is not no game. This is these children's lives. And it's just a demon in you that you need to deal with.
Man. I know this is your first time seeing it, right?
I've seen that before.
Oh, you have? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know it's kind of old. What's your take? What's your take on that?
Unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of pain and trauma in people in general. it can happen in men, it can happen in women. But for some reason, women tend to not take accountability, a lot of times, I won't say at all, but a lot of times for their pain and trauma. And then it shows up in a relationship as, the saying, hurt people, So for whatever reason, she had that story in her head and believed it so, but knew it was a lie just so she can hurt that man. Just so she could control that man, And whatever her thoughts on that is, or whatever her reasoning is for it, we don't know because we didn't see the rest of it, or I don't think she said anything on the show. But yeah, we have to start looking at, the background as to why these things happen, because this is not the first time. I guess for one say that, this happened to me, not to that extent, not to being accused of doing anything to my children,
Right.
but someone holding something over my head, or someone, doing something to where I didn't agree with, I didn't have the control, because for whatever reason, people like the men and women to fight. They don't like them to come together and work together, and make things work, whether you're together or not. Doesn't matter. What matters is you and the other, parent, come into an amicable situation to where you guys can work together and co-parent a child. You're going to agree, you're going to disagree, but that's just part of it. So, for her to do what she did, is definitely, something I would have did the same thing. I'm not accepting your apology because it's not sincere, I know you and you know me, and, by you putting this on me, that caused me pain for so many years, no one really thinks about the man and his feelings and how he feels about a situation because he's a man. He's supposed to be able to take punishment, take pain, and still, function at a high level and still get things done, which we do because that's what we do and who we are. But for you not to acknowledge, hurt and pain that you cause, that's a different type of monster right there. That's a different type of level of trauma right there. And like you said, that's a different demon right there on a whole nother level. So something in your life, caused you pain, and how you deal with it is you cause me pain. You don't take, anything that I said or, anything that I was going through in consideration, because then you would have to face the truth within yourself. And most people don't want to do that because it will cause them to have to confront, their shortcomings. It will cause them how to confront, the things that they do wrong on a daily basis, but they're comfortable with doing them. It would cause them to either confront me having to change, so I'm not like that, or to admit to myself, I like being this way, or this feels natural, this feels good. So, I commend that brother because I can see his hands shaking.
Yeah, I seen that too. Yeah.
He wanted to punch her
across the table. Hey.
Yeah, exactly. He wanted to right in the kisser. Right in the kisser. Like right across the room, like right out of your seat, all the way over across the other room. But I commend that brother, man. I yield.
Man, makes great, excellent points, man. I think we're in agreement with a lot of the things you said. when I saw this, man, it did, I was able to connect with it, not to the extent of, being accused of, touching my kids or anything like that, but again, something because we didn't have a good relationship, you holding that against me and keeping me from my kids, whatever for that whatever reason you think that was. And I know you kind of touched on a lot of these same things. But to see her logic that, you didn't fight hard enough, you know, for these kids, I was like, what the are you talking about? Like why is it that I have to uh go through this type of drama with you to see the children that we both created? And I know it's not just because it's not because it's nothing that I did solely, but a lot of it is because of what's going on with you. I don't know, like like I said, you kind of touched on a lot of this. So you pretty much covered most of this, but it definitely could stem from, their childhood, their upbringing, stuff that they encounter, not have how to have, a good way of reasoning, like thinking things out. I'm sure that she said along the years, she told her girls that I love you, but that's a lack of, and I know this might seem extreme, but abuse, because there's a lot of things that you could have kept them and shielded them from them having their dad in their life. And because of your issues, you kept these girls and their father away from him because you were abusing him as well. As you said, his hands were shaking. He even the dude was gritting his teeth, and you was just sitting there stone cold face, and you had the nerve to say what you said. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't mean what you said. You just was mad because you was just put on the spot and felt like you had to say I'm sorry, because if you were sorry, this should have been said a long time ago. And necessarily shouldn't have been necessarily said, but the action should have been different. Like, so you're telling me it took 25 years and for you to come on a show for you to decide to say sorry? That's ridiculous, man. I don't think women understand how this type of stuff weighs on a guy. Like, there's a lot of things that a man could deal with. They say that, when a child is born, there's a certain connection that a woman has with the child, but they don't talk about the connection that the man has with the child. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical connection, but he knows in his heart of hearts that this is his seed, and he needs to do whatever he can do to take care of this child. And for that to be taken away from him is wrong. And you know what? I wish I had a woman on here, because I really wanted to see. I want to see like a woman's response to this, to see what they really think of. Because a lot of times when a woman is wrong, they like to jump on the woman's side. Oh yeah, I think she maybe not jump on her side, but make an excuse for them. There's no excuse for this, man. Like, this is happening way too much, way too often. And a lot of times we don't hear about the time that this stuff is, like, how much this is really happening. I saw, maybe we could play this at another time, like next show or something. But I saw a lady who was mad that the guy was dating somebody else, and she took him to child support court and asked for full visitation because he was dating somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you decide you didn't want him, you moved on, but you telling me he can't date nobody else? Like, it makes sense to me. Like, this stuff is crazy. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. And I'll say this is jokingly, but sometimes I think a little deeper about it. is that, you know, in the Bible it says that God took a rib from Adam and he made Eve. And sometimes I say I'm glad that he took that rib, because it seemed like that rib that they got a whole lot of bad stuff in them, a whole lot of effed up mindset, you know, attitudes, you know, thought process, whatever you want to say. Man, that's enough. I guess I'll digress. But it's just crazy, man, to see that, how she, you know, opened up her mouth to say you didn't fight hard enough. How do you know? What was I supposed to do? What did you want me to do? Like, give me the answer to that.
Why do I have to fight for something that's already mine? You know,
fact.
We're not enemies, or I guess we are now. But you know,
yeah.
Why does a man have to continue to prove himself over and over again? And if he brings up something, points out something, you know, he's considered to be crazy. He's considered to be acting like a woman, you know, too sensitive.
This is the word I like to use nowadays, zesty.
Yeah, so if the man is overbearing and aggressive, then he's misogynistic, he's abusive, you know. But when he tries to, you know, allow you to be who you are, and then we meet in the middle, you become the aggressor in some way. You become, you know, like you're on the same, you know, level, and you're not.
Right.
We're not on the same level. One's not better than the other, but we have our space in place that we, you know, take the lead, step back, allow them to have, you know. And if, you know, more understood that, you know, and came to terms with that, you know, it will be a lot more people happier. Because it's like, I don't have to do that because she does that, or I don't have to do that because he does that, you know. I can if they need me to, you know. That's what a partnership is. You know, so for whatever reason, you know, I'm not sure why she came up in her head, in her mind with, you know, oh, you know, your dad raped you when you guys were little or something like that, to kind of make herself look good and then him look bad.
That's super egregious. Like what if he had went to jail for that? Like, what if he had got out back, you know, and then what?
Yeah. And then really the only reason why she apologized because her daughter told her, like, yeah, you need to speak up and say something while we sitting here.
Right.
Because this is ridiculous.
I need you to have that same energy that you had when he said that, when you
Exactly.
said it.
Exactly. So it's just kind of like, you know, some children, like you say, a man and his children has connections, you know, because I'm pretty sure in one of my cases, you know, there was some poisoning going on, you know, and I can tell, you know, the malice and the backlash I get, you know, I can understand, you know, where it comes from, because it sounds exactly like
Right.
the mother.
More the same, yeah.
It sounds exactly like the mother. So I kind of laugh, not because it's funny, but because it's like, yeah,
it's ridiculous. That's what it is.
I can hear exactly who told you to say this and where it comes from, you know.
And you know what's crazy about that too is a lot of times it's not just about them telling them to say it necessarily, but you know, like seeing how they interact with people and seeing the, you know, the way that they talk to people, they pick that up. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a different dynamic because of who, you know, who she is and stuff like that. You know, and we're talking about your, you know, your kids, but or one of your children, but like that's a lot of what happens. And to your point, you know, the partnership when you have kids is of the utmost importance because they're going to get different things from each one of you. And if you're, you know, talking bad or spewing, you know, hatred or things like this to them about the other one, then they miss out on that side of things because there's, you know, they think badly about that side. So now it's like they don't get that part of the learning process that they need because I don't know. I know I'm chatting, but I think I think y'all know what I'm trying to say. They don't get that point of view or that perspective or the way that things are done by that parent. And so they may not fully lack, but there'll be some areas that you could have coached, you could have gave knowledge to, you could have showed, you could have expressed how you handle things in a certain manner in certain situations, like reasoning, you know, like this lady needed, you know, apparently. So maybe she didn't have her father. Maybe she, you know, maybe her parents, you know, her mom told her the same thing, you know, or maybe it did happen to her, you know, and you know, I don't know. I don't know the full background story of that, but we never know what happened to her. But it still doesn't make it right.
Yeah. And to your point, I can see that in real time because my daughter, my 14-year-old, you know, when I'm talking to her and explaining things to her, I can tell that it makes a difference, you know, because for whatever reason, her and her mom is like oil and vinegar or oil and water, you know. So it's like when she comes to me, you know, I'm very expressive and logical in terms of explaining things to her and talking about, you know, her and her accountability and how she should handle certain situations and what you should do moving forward. So why don't you try that and come back to me? And, you know, that works very well. So I know by that, you know, the same thing could have happened if it was allowed for the others, you know. So it's just kind of like people understand what they're doing it when they're doing it, but they may not admit it because it is consciously being done, but it's not long-term thinking on what's being done. Let me say that. So in the moment, you're emotionally reacting to a situation that you're kind of maintain control. So you're going to make rash decisions that you don't think about the long-term effects.
Right.
You know, this is just what I'm doing for now for my life. So let me go and move here and not allow this, or let me disappear and not tell the dad where I'm at. And then he's looking for his child for over 9 months, or he doesn't see him for 3-4 years. And now we come back. Now she's a stranger. So now it's my fault. Nobody wants to talk to me.
Right.
You know, because I didn't do this or I left or did that. I don't leave anywhere. You left, you know. So that's just the way I look at it, you know, and I'm out here, look at me telling my business. But, you know, that's just the way I look at it. If people really sat down and were honest about, you know, why situations are the way they are, it's just things repeating itself, you know, DNA, habits, you know, generations, you know, those things repeat themselves if you don't cut the repeat. If you don't cut the chain, like they say, or the generational curse, it's going to repeat itself.
Right.
You know, so case in point, you know, I told her, it's like, yeah, I told the grandma, this is a chain repeating itself because you did the same thing to her. She didn't agree with me, but me looking at it and talking to her about it, it's the same exact thing. It's just different places and times, but it's the same thing. It might not have happened the same exact way, but in the end, yeah, in the end, you get the same result. There's similarities, right? So if people don't understand how to look at similarities and say, yeah, there's correlation here, it may not be the exact same thing, but correlation is enough to understand what's happening. And then let's figure out how we can change it so it doesn't end up in a similar ending that happened here.
Right.
So
yeah, man. the good thing is, man, what I've seen is that, it's crazy how we experience some of the same things. But talking to my youngest daughter, she's shared some stuff with me that I'm like, wow, that's crazy that you say that, that like she's starting to see things for, what they were and not what she was necessarily told.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, baby, like I know I missed a lot of time, and I wish I was, there more, but from my end, I feel like I tried the best that I could, to make things work or to, be in the space, with you, but it just didn't work out. And I didn't want to like talk badly about, you know, about anybody, but I think she understands. And
Look at you being thoughtful.
well, yeah. Yeah. So anyway.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of
Water under
what,
the bridge, as they say.
Yeah.
Has to be that way, because then you not really go crazy over it, but it's like, man. And I tell people all the time, man, it's the dudes that go to jail, it's the dudes that's in and out of jail that get all the kudos, they get all the chances in the world, But it's the guys that try to make it work and try to do things the right way that get, shitted on the hardest, diarrhea style.
Diarrhea, for sure. Yeah, man, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah, that's the way it was supposed to be.
I mean, even though it stinks sometimes, man.
Oh yeah.
Good thing is that I see that it's working out, and she I talk to her about certain topics, and she is receptive of it. She's asking me like about her career, like what she wants to do, and I'm giving her some insight, like that you should probably work on this type of stuff.
Dope.
I work towards this degree, because it's the market and the things are changing, man. So you should work on this. So we'll see, man, how things go. And I think man, we'll probably want to cut it there. I know you had it out. And man, we doing overtime today.
Double overtime.
Man. Like the WNBA.
Man, I'm telling you. Pay me what you owe me. Overtime.
We ain't got it, cuz. Pockets is empty, cuz.
I'm filing a grievance. Telling the podcast government.
Damn. Cold game.
Gotta be somebody. Ain't gonna be me.
What's today, man?
25th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th.
That's some funniest thing ever. Did you have any closing remarks, man?
Most definitely, man. As always, it's been a pleasure, to take this ride we do every Friday. And appreciate you doing all the technical things, that make this show go. The people out there, hopefully you get something from this in the near future. and link up with us, comments, share, subscribe, have an Instagram, go follow the Instagram page, and just continue to be smart in your opinions. Don't listen to someone else's opinions, develop your own opinion. It's called critical thinking. So the more we have conversations, the more we release our biases, we can have flowing and open conversations that allow us all to think on a higher level, not just using emotion, but using the emotion as we go back and forth to kind of develop, communication as to, how you think and how I think. And from that, we're able to build a stronger community. So I appreciate y'all, and we'll see you maybe next week or not. We're still developing that information, but
Man trying to
nonetheless,
make me roll solo, man.
yeah, nonetheless, you'll see one of us, if not two.
Hopefully two. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, because I'm like, what's up, CuZZo? I'm gonna be looking like what
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm be somewhere like, hey man, I can talk. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna just be on the phone.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. He is the most eloquent of us too. I'm just the old ninja, you know what I'm saying? but as he said, man, we appreciate you. We would be happy if you like, comment, and subscribe. We are two cousins, two individuals, regular dudes, giving just our opinion on things that come up in life. And I know from my point of view, I started this thing because we wanted to talk about certain scenarios that we dealt with that impact us and stuff that we had to share information about. So I appreciate you, man, for us finally getting this thing together. This is our 30 31, maybe 32, because we went overtime. This is the road to our 10,000 hours, so we can perfect this thing. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you all out there. And let me see if this worked. Yeah, there we go.
Salute, shout out.
Yes, sir. All right, CuZZo. It was fun.
Indeed, as well, always. Appreciate you.